The mage is already moving through the tower when the morning settles fully into place. Stone steps curve upward beneath steady feet, their surface worn smooth by years of passage. The mage ascends without hurry, one hand trailing briefly along the inner wall as they move. The contact is casual, habitual, yet the tower responds. All the same subtle adjustments in balance and pressure ripple outward, ensuring stability across the upper levels. The tower has been awake longer than the mage. It always is. Light enters through narrow windows cut at calculated angles, illuminating corridors in bands rather than flooding them. The illumination shifts slowly as the sun rises, guided by etched channels that direct brightness where it is most useful. No single room is overwhelmed. No shadow is left stagnant for too long. The mage pauses at the landing and turns toward the eastern gallery. Here, shelves line the walls from floor to ceiling, holding instruments, bound volumes, and objects whose purposes vary from the mundane to the deeply specialized. Nothing is arranged for display. Everything is placed where it can be reached without thought. The mage selects a thin folio from the middle shelf and opens it while standing. Pages turn with a soft sound, the parchment responding to touch but not resisting it. Marginal notes crowd the edges, written in multiple hands, some the mage recognizes as their own, others belonging to mentors long gone. A small brass device rests nearby on a stone pedestal. The mage sets the folio beside it and adjusts a ring along the device's outer edge. The mechanism responds with a faint internal shift, recalibrating itself to the day's ambient conditions. A thin needle settles into alignment. Acceptable. The mage closes the folio and returns it to its place without hesitation. From the gallery, they move into a narrower passage that leads toward the tower's upper walkspace. Along the way, they pass embedded sigils set flush into the stone. These markings are old. Older than the mage, older than the tower's current form, but they remain active, adjusting airflow and reinforcing structure in response to external pressure. As the mage passes, one sigil briefly alters its configuration, then returns to its resting pattern. A silent acknowledgement. At the walkspace, the ceiling opens upward into a shallow dome. The room is circular, its walls broken by alcoves that hold tools and reference materials. At the center stands a broad work table of dark stone, its surface etched with interlocking lines that form a functional grid rather than a decorative one. The mage sets down a satchel and opens it, removing several items in sequence. A folded cloth is laid out first, smoothed carefully so it lies flat. A set of measuring rods follows, arranged parallel to one another. Last comes a small sealed container, its surface unmarked save for a faint indentation that responds to the mage's touch. The seal loosens without light or sound. Inside, the contents remain undisturbed. The mage examines them briefly, then reseals the container and sets it aside. It will not be needed yet. The mage circles the table once, checking the inlaid lines. Most remain dormant, but a few register faint activity, residual energy from prior work. Still dispersing, the mage traces one line with a fingertip, guiding the remainder into the table's grounding channels. The response is immediate and restrained. No surge, no glow. The line fades. Satisfied, the mage moves to the window on the far side of the room and opens it partway. Outside, the forest canopy stretches outward, leaves shifting slowly in the morning air. Birds move between branches, their calls faint but distinct. The scent of damp earth rises gently. The mage observes the tree line, noting the angle of the sun and the distribution of shadow. This is not divination. It is assessment. A change in weather is possible later in the day. Nothing severe. No adjustment is required yet. The window remains open as the mage returns to the table. From a wall-mounted rack, they retrieve a long, narrow tool, part stylus, part focus instrument. Its surface bears signs of repeated use, the edges softened by handling. The mage holds it briefly, then sets it down beside the measuring rods. Nearby, a small hovering framework adjusts its position automatically, aligning itself above the table. It records ambient fluctuations, notating them in a language only the mage would find intuitive. The structure remains nearly invisible unless viewed from a specific angle. The mage glances at it once, then ignores it. Attention shifts to the day ahead. Several tasks require completion beyond the tower walls. Materials must be checked, boundaries observed. A correspondence needs to be reviewed before midday. None of these are urgent, but all are necessary. The mage gathers the measuring rods and returns them to the satchel. The stylus is secured in a side pocket. The folded cloth is left in place. It will be used later. Before leaving the room, the mage makes one final adjustment. A small mark etched into the table's edge is pressed lightly. The workspace enters a low-activity state, maintaining alignment without drawing excess energy. The change is subtle but precise. As the mage exits, the tower begins its own recalibration. Airflow redirects toward unoccupied rooms. Light levels shift slightly. Structural wards relax by degrees measured too small to notice consciously. The tower prepares to be empty. The mage descends the stairs toward the lower levels, steps steady, movements unhurried. There is no rush. The day has already begun, and everything is moving as it should. Magic does not announce itself. It works quietly, continuously, as the mage steps out of the tower and into the waiting forest beyond. The tower recedes behind the mage as they step onto the soft forest floor. Each footfall is deliberate, settling into the moss and fallen leaves that carpet the path. Sunlight filters through the canopy above in uneven patterns, shifting slowly as the day progresses. The mage walks without hurry, following the trail they have traversed countless times, yet never exactly the same. The rustle of small creatures moving through underbrush, the faint whisper of wind brushing against leaves. The air carries moisture and the scent of pine, of damp earth, and of distant streams. These are ordinary elements, yet through the mage's awareness, each detail feels significant. They do not need to see everything to know it exists. The forest communicates in subtleties. The tilt of a branch, the direction of a scent, the texture of bark beneath fingertips. A small, nearly invisible glyph set into a nearby tree trunk responds to their passage. The glyph has existed for decades, a remnant of an old boundary spell that ensures the forest remains balanced for the tower's influence. It hums faintly, registering the mage's presence, then settles as they continue. No flourish, no glow, only acknowledgement. The mage's eyes move over the flora and fauna with an almost mechanical precision. They note the health of trees, the distribution of moss and fungus, the moisture in the soil. This observation is not for immediate action. It is assessment, recording, preparation for potential work later. A branch droops slightly to the left. A small animal rustles through leaves to the right. Neither surprises the mage, but both are catalogued internally. Midway along the path, the mage pauses beside a clearing where sunlight pools in bright patches. A fallen log rests in the center, worn smooth over time. The mage kneels, placing a hand upon the bark. The log shifts minutely, realigning its natural energy to allow balance in the surrounding area. The motion is imperceptible to anyone else. It is not a spell to impress or illuminate. It is a subtle act of stewardship, a single thread in the forest's ongoing equilibrium. From the clearing, the mage continues to a shallow stream that wings through the trees. Water moves over rocks, forming miniature rapids and pools. The mage crouches, observing the flow. Here, ambient magic traces currents unseen, guiding leaves, adjusting reflections, maintaining clarity. A small pebble rolls slightly beneath their touch, following the natural current, registering subtle corrections to prevent stagnation downstream. The mage moves on, following the stream for a short distance, noting patterns of sunlight reflecting off the water. Ripples reveal tiny interactions. A fish breaking the surface briefly, a dragonfly skimming along the current, water insects performing their precise motions. These small actions require no interference. The mage allows observation to dominate, learning from the ecosystem's own organization. A few steps further, the mage spots signs of distant activity, a figure moving between trees, the faint flicker of a cloak against branches. They slow, adjusting posture, remaining visible yet non-intrusive. The figure is another traveler, or perhaps a local guide. No greeting is necessary immediately. Magic in this context is anticipatory. The mage senses the presence before sight confirms it. The surrounding energy subtly shifts, ensuring that their path and the others remain harmoniously balanced. After a few moments, the figure emerges fully, revealing a traveling companion or scholar carrying tools and papers. The mage nods in recognition. There is no need for conversation to acknowledge their encounter. Their shared knowledge of the forest, its energies, and each other's movements communicates efficiently. Still, the mage adjusts their pace to remain in sync, ensuring the natural flow of energy between the two remains smooth. The path narrows between trees, where sunlight barely reaches the ground. Here, the mage allows a brief, deliberate act of magic, adjusting a minor root that has begun to encroach on the path. With a soft gesture, imperceptible beyond the movement of a hand, the root shifts fractionally to clear the way. No sound, no light. It is neither impressive nor theatrical. It is precise, functional, necessary. Continuing, the mage comes across a low hill with a small rise. From the top, the forest spreads outward in green waves, interspersed with shadowed hollows and distant waterways. The mage pauses again, taking in the panorama, not for beauty alone, but for subtle changes. Movement patterns, the tilt of sunlight, the sway of foliage, and the faint energy currents all register silently. These are the data points upon which the day's later work may rely. Nearby, a narrow path diverges, leading to a series of ancient stones partially covered in moss. The mage steps onto the stones. A minor alignment occurs automatically. Runes embedded in the stones adjust for weight, timing, and energy dispersion. This is habitual. The mage does not command it. It exists because of understanding and long-standing presence. On the stones, small glyphs faintly pulse in response to the mage's movement records. Adjustments and acknowledgements, all conducted without speech or overt motion. This is the forest and its magic interacting with the mage. There is no spectacle. There is no announcement. Only function. The mage moves past the stones and back onto the main trail, descending gently toward a shallow stream that intersects the path again. Here, water carries small debris, leaves, twigs, and the occasional feather. The mage observes. A minimal intervention occurs. A hand moves briefly above the water's surface, directing the debris aside without turbulence, letting it continue downstream in alignment with natural flow. The gesture is subtle, elegant in its necessity, yet invisible to anyone not tuned. Further along, the companion who had emerged from the trees draws closer. They exchange a small gesture, a nod, a brief tilt of a hand. Communication requires no words. The mage's attention remains equally divided between the path, the forest, and the ambient energies that surround them. They reach a minor rise overlooking the path ahead. Sunlight illuminates a patch of flowers that have emerged in early bloom. The mage crouches briefly to examine them. No touch beyond a glance. A mental note is recorded. Growth patterns, color variants, and subtle interactions with the surrounding energy field. This will inform any interventions if needed without altering the natural course. As the path begins to flatten again, the mage slows slightly, allowing their companion to match pace. Conversation is minimal. Soft exchanges of observation, notation, or minor logistical details. All sounds are subdued, allowing the forest to dominate the auditory space. The mage's awareness of ambient magic ensures that neither their words nor movement disrupts energy flows. Ahead lies the beginning of cultivated land meadows, small cottages, and roads. The transition is recognized. Then the mage adjusts posture, stance, and attention accordingly. Magic in the cultivated space is less subtle, more structured, though still restrained. The mage steps into a quiet clearing at the forest's edge, where sunlight warms the earth and the soft hum of nature fills the space. A low stone table waits, worn smooth from years of use, its surface etched with grids and faint markings designed for precision. The mage sets down their satchel and begins unpacking carefully, revealing slender measuring rods, small glass vials, and a few metal instruments. Each tool has been chosen for function, reliability, and familiarity. A shallow bowl of water is placed at the center of the table. The mage lets a few drops spread across the etched lines, moving their hands subtly to guide the liquid along the grooves. The water shifts in delicate currents, responding to invisible flows of energy within the clearing. Next, a small wooden container is opened, revealing powders and finely ground minerals, each labeled with precise care. Using a slender rod, the mage sprinkles tiny amounts along the etched patterns. These placements are not decorative. They stabilize and harmonize the energies surrounding the work area. Each movement is intentional, every adjustment carefully measured. Faint shimmers trace the lines for a moment before fading, showing the flow of energy as it aligns. From the satchel, the mage lifts a small, clear crystal and sets it in the center of the arrangement. Instantly, a subtle resonance spreads through the table, felt more than seen. The mage's hand hovers briefly above it, guiding the energy to align with the grid, ensuring balance. No incantations are spoken, no dramatic gestures performed, only calm, precise adjustment. The mage then retrieves a set of rods and thin wires treated with minor enchantments. Arranging them across the table, they create intersections that regulate energy flow. Powdered minerals are tapped lightly into the intersections, adjusting to fill gaps and maintain equilibrium. The mage's fingers trace the alignments carefully, correcting small deviations and reinforcing harmony. A thin wand-like tool is then used to trace over the powders and rods, reinforcing the energy flow. Each motion is slow, precise, and intentional, guiding subtle currents without creating turbulence. The mage's attention is divided between movement, observation, and alignment, ensuring that every element remains in perfect harmony. Finally, the mage collects the rods, stones, and tools, returning them carefully to the satchel. The crystal is resealed, powders stored, and the bowl emptied into the earth to disperse harmlessly. Standing, the mage surveys the clearing. Birds call softly from the trees. Sunlight warms the moss, and the air carries the faint scent of pine and earth. The subtle work of the day resonates through the environment, quiet and balanced. There is no display, no flourish, only the steady satisfaction of precision, order, and harmony. With a final glance, the mage gathers their satchel and continues along the path, leaving the clearing intact. The mage continues along a gently winding path, approaching a small grove where another figure is already present. This is not a dramatic encounter. There is no conflict, no grand flourish, only a quiet meeting, an exchange of understanding. The other figure, a fellow mage or scholar, moves with similar attentiveness, their gestures minimal, precise, and deliberate. They exchange greetings through slight nods and brief hand gestures. Conversation is sparse, measured and low, more about coordination than chatter. Words drift softly in the air, blending seamlessly with the sounds of the forest. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, the murmur of a stream. Every syllable is deliberate, shaping information without disturbing the natural rhythm of the environment. The two mages walk together for a short stretch, observing the forest. One points subtly toward a patch of overgrown underbrush, where minor energy disturbances have begun to shift. The other raises a hand, and with the gentlest motion, the disturbance is corrected. No light flashes, no sound echoes. Only the soft adjustment of balance, restoring harmony to the space. At a shaded clearing, they pause. One mage retrieves a small implement, drawing faint symbols in the air above a moss-covered stone. The lines shimmer imperceptibly, altering the energy slightly. The other observes, offering a minor correction with a touch of their hand. These gestures are quick but precise, shaping currents without drawing notice. After a few quiet minutes, the mages part ways. Each continues along their own path, their influence lingering subtly on the forest, maintaining harmony and adjusting energies without spectacle. The encounter has been brief, purposeful, and entirely integrated into the natural rhythm of the surroundings, leaving no trace to the casual observer, but ensuring ongoing balance. The mage moves quietly through the forest as the sun sinks lower, casting soft golden light across the moss and leaves. Shadows stretch gently along the path, and the air is cool, carrying the scent of pine, earth, and fading flowers. Each step is deliberate, guided by familiarity with the trails and the rhythms of the forest. Arriving at the tower, the mage returns tools and instruments to their places. Crystals, rods, and powders aligned with care. A brief motion of the hand over a rune or crystal reinforces balance, leaving the space stable and ready for the next day. A window is open to let in the evening air, mingling with the warmth still retained from sunlight. The soft rustle of leaves, distant water, and quiet wildlife complete the ambient rhythm. The mage pauses near the table, observing the subtle shimmer of residual energies. Everything is aligned, harmonized, and at peace. The mage steps to the balcony, overlooking the forest canopy. The sky glows in muted oranges and purples, and the quiet magic of the tower and forest remains, calm and steady. The mage's steps fade, the forest sighs softly in twilight, and the tower stands silently, preserving the calm and harmony cultivated throughout the day, ready to continue into the night.